Welcome to RationalDeen. Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right, yet your name was being dragged through the mud and your true character was completely misunderstood by the world? If you have been living in the shadows, dealing with rejection, or feeling like you've been unfairly labeled, I have a message for you today that will change your entire perspective. You are not forgotten. You are not. In fact, you are being prepared for a shift so massive it will feel like it happened in the blink of an eye. In this episode, we are diving deep into the divine mechanics of a reputation shift. We are going to explore exactly why God hides His chosen ones before He exalts them and how He is about to move on your behalf to silence every critic you've ever faced. You are going to learn so much during this session about your identity, your timing, and the royal authority you are about to step into. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we finish these 10 points, you won't just feel encouraged. Senin bakış açın tamamen değişmiş olacak. Let's get started. The season of hiddenness is not a sign of abandonment, but a strategic move by the Creator to protect you from premature exposure. Just as a seed must stay beneath the soil to develop its root system, your time in the dark has been used to build a foundation that can support the weight of the influence coming your way. If you were elevated before you were ready, the pressure of the spotlight would have crushed you. Now that private preparation is complete, and the transition from the shadows to the center stage is ready to begin. While you were hidden, God was working on the parts of your character that no one else sees. This was the time when your integrity was tested in the small things and your loyalty was proven when there was no applause. You had to learn how to rely on a divine voice rather than the validation of the crowd. Because you stayed faithful in the isolation, you have developed a spiritual maturity that will keep you grounded when the world finally learns your name. Most people view hiddenness as a delay, but it is actually a period of intense acceleration for your soul. In the quiet, you are being refined like gold in a furnace, removing the insecurities and fears that would have hindered your mission. The world may have forgotten about you, but the one who called you was meticulously polishing you into a sharp arrow. You are now being pulled back on the bowstring, ready to be released into your destiny with incredible precision. The shift from the shadows to the spotlight happens the moment your internal growth matches your external calling. You have spent enough time in the wilderness learning the lessons of humility and perseverance. Now the veil is being lifted because you are no longer seeking glory for yourself, but you are ready to be a vessel for a higher purpose. The obscurity that once felt like a prison was actually a sanctuary where you were shielded from the distractions of the world. As you step into the light, you will realize that every moment of being overlooked was a gift. The public recognition you are about to receive is not a fluke. It is the natural result of private growth becoming visible. Those who once looked past you will now look up to you. Not because you fought for their attention, but because your light has become too bright to ignore. The stage is set, the audience is waiting, and your time to shine has finally arrived. The false narratives that have been circulating about your life are officially reaching their expiration date. For too long, you have been defined by the words of people who only saw your struggle but never understood your heart. God is now moving to settle the score, not by arguing with your enemies, but by producing evidence in your life that makes their lies irrelevant. The rumors and labels that once weighed you down are being dissolved by the truth of who you actually are. You are moving into a season where you no longer have to spend your energy defending your reputation or explaining your side of the story. There is a divine defense team working on your behalf, and their methods are far more effective than any human effort. When the truth is revealed, it will act as a supernatural solvent, washing away every stain that was unfairly put on your name. You can remain silent and at peace, knowing that the record is being set straight by the highest authority. Every lie that was told about you was actually a setup for a massive public vindication. The more people tried to bury your reputation, the more God was preparing to exalt it in a way that leaves no room for doubt. The contrast between what was said and what is actually true will become so stark that your character will shine even brighter than before. Those who spoke against you will find themselves embarrassed by the undeniable reality of your success in your spirit. This shift involves a total transformation of how you are perceived by your family, your peers, and your professional circles. The broken or failed version of you that people have kept in their minds is being replaced by a version that carries power and favor. God is rewriting the script of your life in the minds of others, ensuring that your true identity is the only thing that remains. You are being rebranded by the hand of the divine, and no human opinion can stop this process. As the false narrative dies, a new story of resilience and honor begins to take its place. You are being vindicated not just for your own sake, but as a testimony that truth always prevails in the end. The weight of the world's judgment is being lifted off your shoulders, replaced by a sense of freedom you haven't felt in years. Your reputation is being restored to its original intent, allowing you to walk into your future with a clean slate and a clear head. The concept of the Joseph moment is centered on the principle of sudden and radical acceleration. You may have spent years in a metaphorical prison or a pit, feeling as though your potential was being wasted and your dreams were dying in the dark. However, the story of Joseph teaches us that God can move you from the dungeon to the throne in a single day. This transition isn't gradual. It is a divine eruption that bypasses the normal hierarchies and waiting lists of the world. When this moment of acceleration hits your life, your past struggles become the credentials for your future authority. The very places where you were betrayed and sold out become the backdrop for your greatest promotion. You aren't just being moved to a better position. You are being placed in a position of command over the very circumstances that once tried to destroy you. The years of isolation were actually a rigorous training ground for the leadership role you are about to inhabit. The beauty of the overnight shift is that it leaves no room for human intervention to take the credit. When you rise from obscurity to influence so quickly, it becomes a visible sign of divine favor that no one can deny. You will find yourself standing before kings and decision-makers who have the power to change your life. But you will realize it was God who orchestrated the meeting. Your preparation has met its opportunity, and the result is a total reversal of your earthly status. This sudden elevation serves a much larger purpose than just your personal comfort or success. Like Joseph, you are being positioned to be a provider and a protector for others during times of crisis. Your new reputation and resources are tools for a greater mission to save and sustain those around you. God is changing your status so that you can use your influence to bring light into the systems that once ignored you. You must be ready to move at the speed of God's favor. The transition from the pit to the palace requires a mental shift where you stop identifying as a victim and start operating as a ruler. The clothes of the prisoner are being taken off, and the robes of royalty are being put on. Trust that the wisdom you gained in the trials has equipped you to handle the weight of the palace, for you were born for this specific moment of high-level impact. There is a divine law of compensation that ensures your public honor will be proportionate to the private pain you have endured. For every tear you shed in secret and every moment you were humiliated without cause, there is a mountain of glory being prepared for you. God has been keeping an account of every injustice, and the season of repayment has arrived. Your new reputation will not just be good, it will be a double portion that compensates for every year the locusts have eaten. This exchange of beauty for ashes is a literal transformation of your life's story. The very things that people used to mock you or pity you will become the source of your greatest testimony. Your scars are turning into medals of honor, proving that you have the resilience to survive what would have broken others. When people see you now, they won't see the struggle. They will see the supernatural radiance of someone who has been vindicated by the Most High. Public honor serves as a beacon to those who are still in the middle of their own storms. By elevating you, God is making you a living proof that faithfulness in the midst of agony leads to an indestructible reward. The scale of your upcoming recognition will be so large that it will effectively erase the memory of the shame you once carried. You are being transitioned from a season of mourning into a season of celebration that will be witnessed by both friends and foes. The restoration coming your way is not just about material success, but about the total healing of your name. Those who saw you at your lowest will now see you at your highest, and they will have to acknowledge that there is a power working through you that is beyond human explanation. This honor is the oil of joy that replaces the spirit of heaviness. It is a deep soul-level satisfaction that comes from knowing that your endurance was not in vain. As you step into this era of public honor, remember that it is a gift designed to reflect the goodness of your Creator. You can walk with your head held high, not out of pride, but out of a profound gratitude for the reversal of your fortunes. The pain of the past has been the soil, and the honor of the present is the harvest. Your reputation is being set on a hill for all to see, serving as a reminder that those who wait on the divine will never be put to shame. The shift you are experiencing is fundamentally a transformation of identity, moving you from the labels imposed by the world to the titles ordained by the divine. For years, you may have answered to names like rejected, overlooked, or unqualified, but those were merely temporary descriptions of your circumstances, not your soul. Now, there is a celestial renaming taking place where you are being branded as the selected, the favored, and the established. This is not just a change in how you feel, but a change in the very frequency you emit to the world around you. As these new titles take root, you will notice that your words begin to carry a weight they never had before. When you speak, people will listen with a newfound respect, sensing an internal authority that cannot be manufactured. This is because you are no longer operating from a place of seeking approval, but from a position of knowing exactly who you are. The shift in your reputation starts with this internal conviction, as the world has no choice but to agree with the identity that God has already stamped upon your spirit. Stepping into this royal identity means you are shedding the skin of your former self. The victim version of you, which was always waiting for permission or fearing criticism, is being replaced by a leader who understands their inherent value. This new name acts as a key, unlocking doors that were previously bolted shut against you. You are being introduced to new circles and higher levels of influence, and you will find that you no longer feel like an imposter. Because your new title is backed by divine decree, the power of a new name is that it changes the expectations of everyone who encounters you. Those who knew you by your old reputation will be confused by the aura of confidence and peace you now carry. They will look for the person they used to manipulate or look down upon, but they will find someone completely different. This rebranding is God's way of ensuring that your future is not contaminated by the limitations of your past, giving you a clean slate to build a legacy of greatness. Embrace this transition with boldness, for you have earned this new rank through your perseverance. The crown of favor is being placed upon your head, and it is time to walk in a way that honors that calling. You are moving from the back of the line to the front, not because of human politics, but because your true identity has finally been revealed. Wear your new titles with humility and grace, knowing that you were created for this specific mantle of leadership and light. God is preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies, which means your success will be the most powerful response to those who tried to stop you. For a long time, you may have felt the need to explain yourself or fight back against the whispers and the sabotage. However, the season of verbal defense is over, and the season of undeniable results has begun. Your critics are about to be silenced not by your words, but by the sheer magnitude of the blessings and the favor that are manifesting in your life. The silence of your critics will come from their inability to argue with the evidence of your elevation. When God lifts you up, He does it in such a clear and public way that even those who dislike you must acknowledge the hand of the divine upon you. Their mockery will turn into astonishment, and their skepticism will be replaced by a forced respect. You don't need to win an argument when your life becomes a living testimony of a power they cannot explain or replicate. This silencing is a form of divine protection that clears the path for your future. As you rise, the noise of the past will fade into the background, becoming nothing more than white noise that can no longer distract you. The people who spent their time predicting your failure will have to watch as you succeed in the very areas they said you would fall. This is not about revenge, but about the restoration of justice, ensuring that the truth of your character is the only narrative that survives. There is a specific kind of peace that comes when you realize you no longer have to look over your shoulder. The critics who once had power over your emotions or your reputation are being rendered powerless by your new status. You are being moved into a higher vibration where their opinions can no longer reach you or affect your trajectory. By focusing on your mission and your growth, you allow the results of your hard work to act as a shield, effectively ending the era of public scrutiny and doubt. Ultimately, your success serves as a mirror that reflects the critics' own insecurities back at them. While they were busy watching you, you were busy growing, and now the gap between you is too wide to bridge with gossip. Your life is becoming an answer to every question they ever asked about your worth. Stand tall in your victory, knowing that the battle was never yours to fight and that the silence of the opposition is the sound of your breakthrough being finalized. The favor that is currently descending upon your life defies all human logic and societal rules. You are entering a dimension where your qualifications, your background, and your past mistakes no longer dictate your trajectory. Instead, a supernatural grace is opening doors that you didn't even knock on and granting you access to rooms that were previously reserved for the elite. This is not a result of your hustle or networking, but a divine intervention that overrides the standard protocols of the world. People will look at your sudden rise and find themselves unable to explain it through natural means. You will receive opportunities that others have spent decades trying to obtain, and you will do so with an ease that baffles the observers. This illogical favor is a sign that you have transitioned into a flow of abundance, where the laws of scarcity no longer apply to you. It is God's way of showing the world that when He chooses to bless a person, no earthly system can prevent their advancement. This level of favor creates a why-them factor among your peers and competitors. While others are struggling to stay afloat, you will find yourself sailing on a current of effortless success. This is designed to highlight the fact that you are backed by a higher power. You must be prepared for the shock that your elevation will cause, as it challenges the traditional belief that you must suffer indefinitely before you can succeed. Your life is becoming a masterclass in the power of divine selection. As you step into this favor, you will find that even your mistakes are being turned into masterpieces. Situations that should have resulted in failure will somehow pivot into major breakthroughs. The accidents in your life will start looking like carefully orchestrated appointments. This is the hallmark of a chosen one. The environment literally bends to support your purpose because the favor on your life is stronger than the opposition of the world. The responsibility of this favor is to remain a humble conduit for the light that is being poured through you. You are being given this unearned access so that you can change the atmosphere of the places you enter. Use your new influence to advocate for truth and to bring others into the same light. You don't have to explain why you were chosen. You simply have to walk through the doors that are being held open for you by an invisible hand. Stepping into your royal identity requires a total psychological and spiritual overhaul. You are being called to shed the beggar mentality, the part of you that was content with crumbs and terrified of making a mistake. In its place, you are donning a kingly or queenly mindset that understands your inherent worth and authority. This shift is not about arrogance. It is about recognizing the royal DNA that has been woven into your soul by the Creator himself. Walking in this new identity means you no longer wait for the world to give you permission to lead. You carry yourself with a quiet boldness and an unshakable poise, knowing that you belong in the high places you now inhabit. Your posture, your tone, and your decisions will begin to reflect a person who is governed by heaven, rather than by the opinions of men. You are learning to rule over your emotions, your finances, and your influence with a steady, sovereign hand. This royal transition often feels uncomfortable because it requires you to leave behind the familiar comfort of the victim narrative. You can no longer blame your past or your enemies for your current state, because as a royal, you have been given the power to create your own reality. You are being called to take full responsibility for the dominion you have been granted. The crown you wear is invisible to the physical eye, but it is felt by everyone who enters your presence. As you embrace this identity, you will notice that the shame you once carried is completely replaced by honor. You will no longer walk with your head down trying to blend into the background. Instead, you will stand tall as a pillar of strength for those around you. This royal dignity is a gift that allows you to navigate chaos with a calm spirit, knowing that your position is secure and your inheritance is guaranteed by a divine decree. The world is waiting for the manifestation of the chosen ones who know who they are. By stepping into your royal identity, you are fulfilling a prophecy and taking your rightful seat at the table of destiny. Your life is no longer a series of random events. It is a royal procession. Act with the integrity, the generosity, and the wisdom of a true leader, for you were born to reign in this season and to reflect the glory of the kingdom. As we conclude this journey together, remember that your reputation is not in the hands of your critics or your past. It is held firmly in the hands of the divine. The season of being hidden and misunderstood is officially over, and the era of your public vindication has begun. You have been refined in the fire, and now you are ready to shine with a light that cannot be dimmed. Trust the process, embrace your new identity, and walk boldly into the palace that has been prepared for your arrival. I want to hear from you now. What was the biggest revelation you received during these 10 points? How do you feel your identity shifting as you listen to these words? Your insights might be the exact spark someone else needs to hear today, so please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, it shows that you are truly ready for this transformation. To show your support and to help this message reach more chosen ones who need to hear this truth, I want you to type the word crown in the comments. By writing crown, you are signaling to the world and to yourself that you are stepping out of the shadows and into your royal authority. Thank you for being part of the RationalDeen community. Keep your head high, keep your heart pure, and watch as God changes your reputation overnight. Until next time, stay blessed and stay focused on your divine purpose.